Another video from Fast Tech. In this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to disassemble and repair your PS4 model CUH-7115. This one in particular is a Star Wars edition PS4 Pro, but most of the PS4 Pros in the market are going to be regular 7115 black systems. This one is a special edition. The first thing I'm going to show you guys how to remove is the hard drive. And you can do that by removing this piece here at the back. It should come off easily like this. And then there's gonna be a Phillips screw that we're gonna have to remove. We're gonna use our Fast Tech Pro Auto Kit, which we sell on our website. Link's gonna be in the description box. This toolkit not only has all the bits you need to disassemble your PS4, but also your PS5, iPhone, Xbox, all other kinds of electronics. You can use the coupon code YouTube for a discount. And best of all, this kit is automatic, so that means you don't have to waste time turning screwdrivers. We're gonna get that Phillips screw out of the way with ease with our Fast Tech Pro Auto Kit. And now we're gonna be able to pull the hard drive out just like that. Very, very easy. Now you're gonna have to remove the hard drive and replace it. If your PS4 Pro is getting the PS4 cannot start error message, and when that error code shows up, you're gonna have to replace the hard drive and reinstall the software on it. In certain cases, removing the hard drive and putting it back in does seem to fix the issue, but if that doesn't fix your issue, or if the hard drive is making ticking noises, then it's time to replace the hard drive. And you can do that by removing these 4 screws here on the side. Once you've gotten the enclosure off, you're gonna see a hard drive. And this hard drive looks like it's been replaced or upgraded in the past, because this is not the brand that comes with PS4s normally. It's some of them do have Seagate hard drives, but they're not Seagate Barracudas. Most of them have HGST hard drives, and so this is a little bit unusual, but obviously this hard drive has been upgraded at some point. Next thing I'm going to show you guys how to do is to remove the top cover, and you might want to do this if your console is getting dusty or running loud. You can clean the fan out, but the best way to fix that issue is to disassemble the whole thing and get to the heatsink, replace the thermal paste, which I'm going to be showing you guys in this video as well. But a first step that you can take if your PS4 is overheating is you can simply lift up this cover like that from the front. And at this point, we're going to be able to access the fan right here. We can't remove the fan or replace it at this point because we're going to have to remove a bunch of other things to do that. But you can blow it out with a compressed air can. And if you want to do that, we also sell that compressed air can on our website. Links in. This right here is the power supply. And if you're having power issues, you can replace this, and I'll show you guys how to do that next. To remove the power supply, there's these 4 screws that have to be removed, but there's some other screws on the other side that also have to be removed. These screws are Torx T8, and the bit for that is included in our Fast Tech Pro Auto Kit. We're gonna remove these screws. We're gonna remove these screws and this plate right here and get that out of the way. Now to get the power supply out, there's some screws on the other side that we're gonna have to remove. And to do that, we have to remove this sticker right here at the back. On previous PS4s, there were 2 of these, and including the PS4 Pro of the previous model, but on these newer 7115 or 7215 systems, there's this warranty sticker here and this sticker here, but only one of them is tamper proof. So there are 2 stickers in total, but only one of them is tamper proof, and only this one has a screw underneath. This one, I believe, has a clip underneath. To remove this sticker, we're going to use a knife and get it out of the way. In some countries, this is considered a warranty sticker, but none of these PS4 Pros have any warranty by now. We're also going to remove this sticker right here. Get that out of the way. As you can see, there's one screw here, and then this side's a clip. We're gonna use our Torx T8H bit on this screw. Get that out of the way. Now we can lift up the case from the sides, and this clip is gonna have to be disengaged, but this one came off on its own, so we just have to lift up this one here. There's another clip on this side here that we have to disengage. There you go. Now this part of the case should come off. Now we're gonna remove some of the screws we need to remove to get the power supply out, which I believe one of the screws is this one here. And then this one here. And let's just take out this one for good measure. And this one here. And I think this one here. And now the power supply should be free. Boom. And then there's a cable at the front. You want to be very careful here not to break this cable. We're gonna unhook this cable, and we're gonna pull it out from the power supply here. Wiggle and pull, and the cable's gonna come out. That's the power supply right there. Now, if your PS4 is not turning on, which means if you press the power button at the front, there's no beep, there's no sound, and there's nothing displaying on the screen, obviously, because the PS4 won't even turn on. It's most likely caused due to a dead or defective power supply. This one's an N15-300P1A, which is usually found in European or Asian systems. The ones in North America are, for this model, would be an 80P300FR, I believe, or an ER. Let me just look that up. And according to our website, which is a great database at this point for PS4 parts and information, on a North American unit, typically the power supply that you'd find would be an 80P300ER, which is basically exactly the same thing as this. This would normally be shipped in European or Asian consoles, but I'm guessing during the manufacturing run of this console, they probably ran out of these, so they had to put in one of these. But it doesn't matter because both these models are identical, and the only difference is the model numbers are different. But both of these do 110 to 220 volts, so you can use it all around the world. As you can see right here, it says AC input 100 to 240 volts. If you want to buy this power supply, we sell these on our website. Links are going to be in the description box. I'm going to flip the console over one more time, and now I'm going to be showing you guys how to remove the motherboard, the fan, the disk drive, and to do that we have to remove all of these screws and get the motherboard out of the way. In the process, I'll also be showing you guys how to replace the motherboard in case you have the blue light of death and you've tried the reflow reball method and the problem keeps happening, or if there's other issues and you want to replace the motherboard, you can do that as well. And again, we sell the motherboards as well. We'll get to that later, but I'm going to remove all these screws. Some of these are Torx T8s, and most of them are Phillips bits, both of which are included in our FastTech Pro Auto Kit. We've removed all the Phillips screws, and now I'm going to remove the Torx T8 screws. Now we've got the Torx T8s out of the way. We're going to get some of these cables out of the way. Something interesting that I noticed while disassembling the system for you guys here today is that one of the cables from the disk drive seems to be sticking out a little bit. And if I push it back in, it does go back in, so it's not a problem with where the line's drawn. The cable was sticking out a little bit, which I don't, maybe it wasn't sticking out enough for it to not work, but it seems like it was sticking out. But anyways, let's remove these cables. These ones you can lift up. These are antenna cables. Lift them up like that. These ones are for the disk drive. Some of these pull out, but some of these have clips. This one has a clip, which you have to lift up like that, and you pull the cable out. These ones you can just pull out. This one here is for the front power button. We're gonna pull this one out. This is for the eject button. This right here is the fan connector. You can grab it from the sides, wiggle and pull. It's gonna come out. We're gonna get these cables out of the way. Unroute the cable. And now this panel should come off like that. Now we have access to the motherboard. This right here is an NVB003, which is one of the motherboards that you'd find in a 7115 PS4, 7100 and 7116. There's a clamp here that we have to remove. There's 2 screws. Phillips also. We're gonna get these out of the way. Got that clamp out of the way. We're gonna lift up this piece. This right here is the Bluetooth chip. If your PS4 is no longer connecting to controllers, even with a cable plugged in, it's most likely this Bluetooth chip right here. And what you have to do is you have to desolder this and install a new chip onto the motherboard. This is not something that you're gonna be able to do at home unless you have some serious BGA rework equipment like we do here. We do offer this service at the time you're watching this video, but if you want to buy this chip, if you're a repair technician watching this, or a store, which we do recently, we've been getting a lot of orders from U-Break, iFix stores and other franchises, and some smaller computer stores and game console repair shops. If you're able to do this job, we sell this chip on our website as well, links in the description box. We're gonna lift out the motherboard by grabbing it from the front, lifting it out, and then we're gonna pull it out from this side where the HDMI cables are connected. I did forget to remove one cable here, but that's fine because we did remove it from the power supply, so it is just gonna come out like that. That's the power supply cable right there. We could remove it at this point, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Wiggle and pull, it's gonna come out. This is what the other side of the motherboard looks like. This is the CMOS battery, which you will have to replace if you're getting that CE error where games are not loading off the hard drive or off the disk and your date and time isn't being saved. That's because this battery right here saves the date and time, and this is a consumable item, so it's bad design on Sony's part to have it this way, but eventually the system is going to stop reading games off the hard drive or the disk because this little $1 battery died, and at that point you'd have to remove everything to replace this little battery. And it's very simple to remove this battery. All you got to do is pull it out. It's going to come right out. You install a new battery and you're good to go. Now we're down to the heatsink. If you do get this far, I absolutely recommend removing thermal paste and putting on some thermal grizzly on here. This paste at this point would be extremely dry, and even if it wasn't, you still want to replace it because you're this far in, and the factory paste that all these manufacturers use is garbage, obviously due to cost reasons. So we're going to put some thermal grizzly on here, and we do sell that on the website as well, links in the description box. We're going to remove these screws that hold the heatsink in because now we want to get to the disk drive and the fan. And to get to the disk drive, believe it or not, you have to remove everything and the heatsink. This screw here has to go, this one here. I think it should be free at this point. I'm gonna lift the heatsink out. Normally, there would be some dust here, which there is. And this dust right here is enough to cause issues in the future. If you're getting the PS4 is too hot error message, you might even miss that screen because it only shows up for a second. But if your PS4 gets really, really loud and then shuts off immediately and you see a blue screen for a second, if you're able to read what that blue screen says, it's gonna say PS4 is too hot. And that's because of this dust that you can see is blocking the heatsink completely. And once all of this is filled up, or maybe even 80%, the system's gonna stop running. Well, it will run for a little bit, but then it will shut off. And that is caused by this dust right here. You can use a compressed air can to blow this out, which again is on our website, fasttechstore.com. But you can see that there's a lot of that here. Fortunately, this system is not going back together because, as much as it hurts me to tell you guys this, even though this is a PS4 Pro Star Wars Edition, a limited edition system, it is being parted out for parts. But it's gonna give life to 6-7 other systems. You know, one system needs a hard drive, one needs a disk drive, a fan, etc. So this PS4 Pro will actually become 7-8 PS4 Pros. But like I said, guys, if you get this far, make sure you clean out this heatsink because it will give you problems, I promise you. The top 4 of my most popular videos are simply me showing you guys how to get to this heatsink on previous PS4s and clean out this dust. I'm gonna get this dusty heatsink out of the way. Now we're gonna remove the fan. There is a screw here and a screw here. And now we got the fan out. This one here is a KSB1012H and by Delta, and there's also a Nidec model, which most people prefer the Nidec model, but we sell both of them on our website. This fan seems to be in okay condition. There is some dust here, so if your fan is this dusty, I would recommend cleaning it before you put it back in. Sometimes these fans seize completely, like the coil seizes in them, or they'll just be so full of dust that they're jammed, they're not going to be spinning anymore. If that's the case, you're going to need a replacement. Last, but certainly not least, you got the disk drive. There's a few screws in here that we're going to have to remove. There's 2 of them here, one here, and then another one here. And now the disk drive is going to come out. This is what a 7115 disk drive looks like. Each PS4 Pro model has its own disk drive. A 7015 disk drive will not work for 7115 and vice versa. Same with the 7215. These are not interchangeable. The connectors are slightly different, so when you're replacing these, make sure to check the model number of your system before you get these. Sometimes you could get objects stuck in the disk drive which would cause the disk drive not to accept any disks. So if your disk drive is not accepting any disks, you would want to remove these screws here, remove the top frame off, and see if there's any objects in the disk drive. This one clearly does not. Sometimes the lasers in these die, and that's just a wear and tear thing. Typically a laser lens has a life of 3 to 4 years, sometimes 5 years of everyday use. Again, it all depends on how much you use the disk drive. A lot of people these days don't even use the disk drives anymore. They download their games, which I think is idiotic. I always prefer having a disc in hand because at the end of the day, that stored game that you have on your hard drive or now SSD on the PS5s, they're subject to Sony allowing you to play them, meaning they could take away that right of yours to load that game tomorrow. That's why you need to be connected to PSN to even load those games. So I think that's bad. I think people should buy games on disc, but again, that's my opinion. And that's the disk drive right there for a 7115 PS4 Pro. Now I'm going to remove the antenna, which is really the last thing in the system. There is the power and eject button in these cables, but I'm not going to bother with those because you are not going to have to replace those. Those usually don't fail, but if they do, it should be pretty obvious by this point how to replace those. We're going to remove the Torx T8 screw that holds in the antenna and lift it out. And that's one of the antennas. There's another one here on this side, and there's another one here. I noticed this one was a little bit bent, but it's not damaged as far as I can tell because the solder point's still on. And these require Phillips bits to remove, which are also part of our FastTech Pro Auto kit. And that's another video from FastTech, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And check out my vlog channel in which I travel the world and I record my adventures. I promise that you won't be disappointed. Links for that are going to be also in the description box and top comment. And that's another video from FastTech. I'm out, and I'll catch you in the next one.